Hello YouTube and welcome to the Mototopia channel. This video is part 1 of 2 in day 5 of our Edelweiss Alps Tour series. It was filmed back in June of 2019. I had to go into 2 parts because there was just so much great footage this day. Arguably some of the best motorcycle roads in the world. And I just couldn't get it done in one video, so I had to make 2. But we will be riding along the lakefronts of Lake Lugano in Switzerland, and then go into northern Italy and ride along the eastern shore of Lake Como. We're going to visit some really charming kind of medieval villages along the eastern shore. One of them, called Corenno Plenio, has a castle on the top of a hill from the 14th century, and it's still in really great shape. And then we're going to go east. We're going to stop and have a beer at this really cool stone restaurant on the side of a hill with all these local Italians and a bocce court. And then we're going to continue riding, snaking our way up the mountain to Passo San Marco. It's just some incredible riding, beautiful scenery. You're going to love it. So please, if you do like the video, it's important if you subscribe to the video and also click on the little bell for notifications. I would really appreciate that. So thanks, and I hope you enjoy the video. Bye. Okay, so we start the day in Lugano, Switzerland, and we head east along the northern shore of Lake Lugano. And we cross over the border into Italy and basically continue east to the western shore of the kind of northern spur of Lake Como. And then we take a ferry across to Varese and go north along the eastern shore of Lake Como. We ride through Dervio and then go right past the beautiful Corenno Plinio Castle, and from there we work our way along the shoreline some more, going up to Calico and then kind of going east to Morbegno and then Valle Camperbolo, going south again to Passo San Marco, and that is our morning. So this is our second day of leaving out of the Continental Park Hotel. So here are just a few photos of us getting ready. We were super excited for the riding today. So we started our day with a short ride through the city of Lugano. Really not a whole lot of sights to see. There's a little bit of traffic, really just city riding. Now, I don't mean to suggest that there were no sights worthy of turning your head over, but there were a couple. In this case, I see some heads turning. It would appear that maybe a piercing studio caught their attention. That's debatable. We continue on, and look, here's another reason to turn your head. It's a construction site, I guess. So now we are heading up the hillside neighborhood of Ruvigliana. You'll see that it's just a really nice neighborhood, nice homes, great views of the lake. I did try turning my head a couple of times to see if I could catch a good glimpse of the lake, but that really didn't work too well without stopping. Probably one of the nicer places to live in Lugano. As we rode east along the northern shore of Lake Lugano, we went in and out of a lot of different tunnels, which was kind of neat. We came out and boom, there was the lake. But really some stunning views. All the houses built on these mountainsides. Really, really pretty place. So we stopped here at this gas station for a short break. Believe it or not, the gas station offered some photo taking opportunities. So we did that as well, and then proceeded to cross the border from Switzerland into Italy. Here are a few of those photos we took. I don't know about you, but two of the most appealing things to look at in nature to me are mountains and water. And here in Switzerland, northern Italy, you have both. So this is the border crossing from Switzerland into Italy. So if you're planning to travel in Europe, particularly in the Alps, you'll be going from Austria to Switzerland to Italy and back and forth quite a bit, especially if you're on an Edelweiss tour. But you should know that it's really problem-free. We did have our passports with us on the bike, but I don't recall that we ever needed them. There might have been one time when we gave it to the tour guide, but I'm not sure they ever showed it to anybody. It was really a very smooth process. This is the Italian side of the border after that tunnel, and we just sailed right through. All right, well, we had to slow down a little bit, but there was no one there flagging us, stopping us. We just rolled right across the border. The village of Cima, Italy, is on the eastern end of Lake Lugano. This area has a series of 7 caves called the Grotti di Brescia that has been earning the visit of tourists since the year 1700, apparently. These caves are both rare and beautiful because water digs them out over time from a material called travertine. The caves also represent the Italian version of the tacky light tour, because at Christmas they cheese them up with decorations and lights and Christmas trees and Santa Clauses and things like that. But there is a real nice waterfall on the hike up to the caves, over 70 meters in height, which is probably a pretty cool thing to see on your way to the caves. Coming over the hills and approaching Lake Como was a very nice ride. The views were great, the neighborhood was nice, and the roads were these sweeping, curvy turns. And we did pass a nice car, at least one, this Morgan here, just in case anybody's a fan of Morgans. Here's a still shot of that car going by us. I don't think that's a vintage model of the Morgan. I think it's, maybe early 2000s model. But great car to be driving around these hills in northern Italy, I would imagine. Almost as much fun as a motorcycle. So we're now about halfway through our morning ride. After the beautiful descent into Menaggio, we stopped to pick up a ferry and take the ferry due east across Lake Como. And that was kind of a neat experience. I'd say you should do that. That's my buddy Kevin. Here's a couple photos of Bob and Jean. Everybody was kind of sandwiched into this ferry real tight. There's John on the steps. There's Bob, Jim, and Paul. Dan and Lucas, the tour guide. And there's Barry and Dan. They used to work together, but now they play together. Nah, I'm just kidding. Not that there'd be anything wrong with that. There's Ken. And this is another ferry similar to the one that we're on. And now it's time to get off this boat and get back to riding. So we exited the ferry in the town of Verena, or Verena, not sure how you say it. It's on the eastern shore of Lake Como. The map that Edelweiss provides of the trip showed that we went south from here, but in fact we went north and we're riding up the eastern shore of Lake Como. Passo San Marco, which is where we're headed, is directly east of where we are when we get off the ferry. But there are no roads from there going east, so we've got to go north up the eastern shore of Lake Como, and then go east, and then make another right and go south, and wind our way up the mountain to the pass. But that affords us the opportunity to ride along the lake shore a little bit, and well, it's a beautiful lake, beautiful scenery, a little bit of traffic, but it's a very nice ride. A lot of little towns that you go through, and they're all very scenic. Picturesque, quaint little Italian villages. Couldn't have been prettier. The town of Dervio juts out into the lake. To our right are the impressive peaks of Mount Leoncino and Mount Legnoni, which mark the southern point of the Alps. Dervio offers ancient cobbled streets and stairs carved into rock. The town dates back to Roman times, but had its heyday under Austrian rule when it was home to numerous paper mills and shipbuilders. The beautiful and historic castle of Corenno Plinio, which sits atop a hill in the hamlet of the same name, is considered a must-see when visiting the Dervio area. The town retains its medieval charm and character, also with cobbled streets that descend down toward the shoreline. The castle has an irregular shape and conforms to the landscape, with protective, intimidating walls and guard towers. The views are beautiful. The castle is privately owned, but is open to visitors on the first Saturday of the month. So after we turned east, away from the shoreline, we took a mid-morning break at this really cool Italian restaurant. The tour guide just pulled over to the side of the road. There was no place to park. We didn't know what was going on. But once we realized what we were doing, it was really a neat thing to do. This place had seemingly no parking lot, no car access, and it was hidden on the side of this mountain. An old stone restaurant with this really cool patio, and there were some locals hanging out, just talking, having a drink. This was the closest thing to a sign with the restaurant's name that I could find. We just all hung out in back at these picnic tables, talking, resting, had a few drinks, took some pictures of the view, which was outstanding. There was also a bocce ball court. Unfortunately, no one was playing, but we did get to see the court, and just relaxed and had a good break from the heat of the day. That is Lucas, the tour guide. There's Kevin and Barry. There's another shot of Kevin, so he looks pretty happy. And there's Gene trying not to suck it in. And I don't know who this guy is. Some clown, some local Italian model or something. Not sure who he is. And there's the guys. That's Paul, Ken, Bob, and Jim. And then I took some shots of inside this restaurant. They weren't yet open for lunch, but it looked like a great place to stop and eat if the timing had been better. Okay, so we're back on the road, heading south, making the last push up to San Marco Pass. And these roads were a lot of fun. I was kind of hanging in back with the last rider, just so nobody rode alone for safety reasons. And by riding slower, I got to really enjoy the scenery. So I didn't feel like it was much of a trade going a little slower than my usual pace. The road surface wasn't great, but the roads themselves were tight turns and really beautiful views. I pulled over here a little bit just to take it in for a minute. What a spectacular valley. Those mountains were amazing. Pulled over here just to let Gene catch up a little bit, and well, I got impatient. There were areas of construction along this part of the road, and where there was construction there were red lights and it was down to one lane of traffic. But I couldn't wait, I was worried, so I went back. So I got back to the red light, and I couldn't see around the bend. So I did something a little stupid and tried to see past the bend in the road, and then of course the oncoming traffic started coming right at me. So I waved Gene on and some other guys that weren't riding with us, and tried to do a quick turnaround here before the van coming up the road got to me, and then I stalled my bike. Got it restarted, and all was well. But it was kind of stupid of me, really. It's fine, of course, to go back and try to help someone that falls behind, but don't put yourself in jeopardy. You can't help anybody if you do that. And of course, Gene was perfectly fine. He just got held up at a red light. So you know you're getting close to the pass, to the summit, when there's no more trees, because you're so high you're above the tree line. Also, note the curbs that serve as guardrails. That's a little disconcerting. But we took it easy and we had no accidents, which was great.
Fammene una, poi me la mangi. La fai col mio, to, aspetta.
I got stuck behind that light.
Oh, did it turn red again that quick?
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. Well, it's because I took so long to get started.
No.
And then my wheel spun.
I don't know why, like, the clutch is now much better. It engages much earlier, but I'm still...
Struggling?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a feel. You just have to get used to it.
I think there was a little bit of a hill as well, and just...
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, I worried that you went down in that ditch. I'm like, oh, I better turn around just to make sure he's okay.
I got stuck behind the wall. Thank you.
Sure.
It's cool following your line. I think now I understand. On the left turn to stay out so you can see.
Yeah, go wide and you look up as you're coming in, and then start to make the turn so that if this is your turn, you come out and then hug it close as you come around and go up. And momentum, accelerate, as soon as you're pointed in the right direction, because otherwise you feel like you're going to stall and fall off the ledge.
Okay, well that's it for part 1 of day 5 of the Edelweiss Alps Tour. I'm going to leave you with a few shots from part 2, which includes the infamous goat path, also called by Gene the bike path of death. But it was beautiful, it was fun. We did have a little minor mishap, which we'll get into in the part 2 video. But it's probably the most spectacular riding of everything that we did in the Alps. At least for me, it was the most fun day. And it was beautiful. Just look at these photos. So please take a look at that one as soon as it's posted. And remember to like and subscribe. And of course, as always, be in love with your life every minute of it. Thanks so much.